Hello and welcome to another Sports Central web exclusive episode. I'm your host Cam Goodicunts and I'm going to catch you up on all things CMU sports. The women's basketball team headed into the NCAA tournament with their heads held high after winning the MAC tournament and ending their regular season as the outright MAC champions. The Chippewas traveled down to Columbus, Ohio for the first round of the tournament to take on 6th-seeded LSU. All 5 starters had their key moments, including MAC Player of the Year Tanara Moore. Moore stood her ground in the paint, finishing with 25 points and 7 rebounds. MAC tournament MVP Raina Frost struggled with foul trouble early, but MAC finished off with 12 points and 12 rebounds. Junior guard Presley Hudson had 12 points and 8 assists, helping the Chippewas to the program's first NCAA women's basketball tournament victory. The match ended up with a score of 78-69 in favor of the Chippewas, but this team wasn't done yet. Just 2 days later, the Chippewas took on the home team Ohio State in the tournament's second round. The Chippewas never blinked and never backed down against Ohio State. Presley Hudson, Cassie Breen, and Tanara Moore all scored more than 20 points, and the team made 52% of their three-point attempts. CMU also out-rebounded their opponents 46-35, topping third-seed Buckeyes 95-78. This victory improves the Chips' overall record to 30-4 and advances them into the Sweet 16. While this season qualifies as the finest season in 50 years of CMU women's basketball history, this team just stays focused on who's up next. The Chippewas will head to Spokane, Washington to take on second-seeded and 6th-ranked Oregon Ducks. But the women aren't the only Central basketball team who are battling in postseason play right now, as the Chippewas men's team is currently playing in the College Insider Tournament. The team took down Fort Wayne last week and then traveled to South Carolina to take on Wofford University in the second round. Cecil Williams hit a huge three-pointer in this game to give the Chips a 90-87 lead in the fourth quarter, and the Chips would hit all 15 of their free throws in the game, which carried them to a 98-94 win. The SoCon Player of the Year Fletcher McGee went off for 37 points in his final game of the season for Wofford. Senior Josh Kaczynski led CMU with 18 points, while Cecil Williams added 17 of his own. The Chips roll on in the CIT and are currently awaiting their game and site from the tournament organizers. Moving off the court and now onto the mat, the Central Michigan gymnastics team are the MAC champions once again. They faced off with Ball State McGirt Arena in what would be the final regular season meet for the Chips' stellar 5 seniors. Katie Clements took the top spot on both the beam and the floor for the Chippewas, and the team tied their season high on vault with a 49.0. It is head coach Jerry Reigert's 8th regular season title, but he was quoted saying, "I don't know if I've ever had a sweeter championship." This also marks the second championship for the Chips' outstanding seniors, who won their first as a freshman just 3 years ago. The team will get one more chance to perform McGirt Arena this season, as the MAC championships will be taking place in McGirt Arena in Mount Pleasant. A week after the Chippewa women started their 5-game postseason streak in Cleveland, 7 Chippewa wrestlers found themselves in Quicken Loans Arena. The goal? To advance to the NCAA championships as far as they could. Colin Heffernan, Jordan Atienza, and Matt Stencil did not quite reach that goal and were eliminated. However, the Chippewas had 4 grapplers advance to the second day, which included Mason Smith, CJ Bruckey, and Jordan Ellenwood. Those 3 would eventually be defeated during day 2 of the tournament, and the remaining wrestler of those 4 was 149-pounder Justin Oliver, who fell just 1 win short of being an All-American for the 2nd straight year when he lost a 9-4 decision to Oklahoma State's Boo Llewellyn. CMU finishes their year off with an 8-6 record, placing second in the Mid-American Conference and capping off another solid season for Coach Borelli and his squad. After having their first 2 home games of the season postponed, CMU baseball team finally got to play its home opener at Tennyson Stadium, taking on Northwestern in a 3-game series. The Wildcats went up 3-0 from a home run in the second inning by Leo Kaplan, and that would hold true as Northwestern would escape with a victory by a final score of 4-2. Michael Pertel got the start for the Chips, striking out 7 and giving up 3 runs through 5 2/3 innings. Quinn Lavelle earned the win for Northwestern, allowing 4 hits and with just 1 run. Then the next day on St. Patrick's Day, the Chips were right back on the diamond with a doubleheader to complete the 3-game series with Northwestern. Cole Dazan got the start for CMU and would go 3 innings, giving up 3 runs on 3 hits. The Chips would then bring a few more pitchers, but would eventually drop the contest 5-3. Xavier Warren hit a strong game for CMU, collecting 3 hits and 4 at-bats. The loss marked a 15-game winless streak for the Chippewas. Central Michigan did have some fight, though, on them in St. Patty's Day, as they would end the losing streak in the nightcap of this doubleheader. Tyler Hankins got the start for CMU and went 8 strong innings, earning his first win of the year. The Chips lead 2-1 going into the 8th inning, and then blew the game wide open, scoring 5 runs. The team went on to win 7-3. Brandon Reed came in for relief in the 9th inning to close it out for CMU, who looks to take this momentum into 8-game road trip over the next few weeks. The Chippewa women's lacrosse team got back into action this week, facing off with Duquesne University. It was the second game in a 7-game homestand for CMU after playing 4 early road games. The Chips found themselves down 7-1 early in the first half, but would surge back to the game going into halftime. The scoring didn't stop there for CMU, however, as they scored 12 unanswered goals, and that would go on to claim the victory by a final score of 15-8. Emma Hamilton had a huge game for the Chippewas, scoring 5 goals in the game, while Jocelyn LeMay and Anna Schoonover both netted hat tricks. The win ended a 2-game losing skid for CMU and moved the team to 3-4 overall on the season. The Chips then rode that hot streak right into their next game against St. Francis University. They jumped out to an early lead and went into halftime up by 4 goals. St. Francis put up a fight though in the second half, but would never come within 3 goals of the Chips. The game ended with the Chippewas picking up their second straight win by a final score of 17-12. Anna Schoonover continued her hot streak with 5 goals, while Sarah Mahone scored 4 for SFU. CMU opens up Southern Conference play against Mercer in their next matchup at home and will look to continue to build on their 2-game winning streak. Pro Day is a chance for college football players to showcase their talents one final time. This year, Central Michigan University held their Pro Day and had several participants, including wide receiver Mark Chapman, tight end Tyler Conklin, and defensive end Joey Osman. Chapman had a productive senior year, leading CMU in receptions with 54 and receiving yards with 804. Chapman has Canadian roots and would be intrigued by any CFL teams if the NFL didn't end up being the route for him. Joe Osman, who was considered to be a big-time NFL Combine snub by many, had the most sacks in all of college football last season with 14, tying with fellow MAC player Sutton Smith from NIU. Osman is hoping the Pro Day solidified himself as a Day 3 selection in the upcoming NFL Draft. Tyler Conklin is arguably the most sought-after Chippewa prospect in this year's class. He only played 7 games due to injury. However, Conklin racked up 35 receptions for 504 yards and 5 TDs in that shortened year. Conklin hopes a strong Pro Day to go along with a stellar Senior Bowl performance and NFL Combine will maximize his draft stock, which is mocked anywhere between rounds 3 and 6, according to leading sources. In total, 27 athletes participated in CMU's Pro Day. 15 of those 27 were Chippewas, which included U of M grad transfer and quarterback Shane Morris, as well as receiver Corey Willis. The remaining other 12 athletes came from various other Michigan Division II and Division III schools. And on that note, our web exclusive is coming to a close. Check out our web exclusive episodes, which air every other Monday, with our full-length episodes filling in the weeks in between. You can also check us out on all major forms of social media. I'm Cam Goodicons, and thank you for watching this week's exclusive of Sports Central.
William Murder in the beat.